Hello, my name is James A. Brandis, Big Jim, and I'm doing this tribute to my dear friend Charlton Chuck Heston. I recall the first time I ever met Chuck in person. I'd pulled up in my new Mercedes to his drive, and he had just been coming from the tennis courts with another celebrity after having had a few sets of tennis, no doubt, and were standing in the door viewing me in the drive. Now, at that point, some German Shepherd dogs surrounded the car, and I wondered, do I get out of the car or what? But I did. I like dogs, and I think they can sense when you like them. But as I approached the door, I heard Chuck Heston say two things. He says, I lost the bet. He had bet with this friend as to whether or not I'd risk getting out of the vehicle, which I did. And then he also said, my, you're a big guy. Well, I'm 6'8", which made me tower even above Moses. But as it were, it was a phenomenal experience to have been there to deliver the flame, which is prose, poetry, and classic photography, beautifully filmed and illustrated by Paul E. Vaughn. And I wanted them to have it because I knew Lydia was a photography buff, and I felt she, of all people, might find it interesting. But as time moved on and Chuck became ill, as a writer, I was inspired to write, and I've said many times, these words come from a source much greater than me. It's not me, but I always pray that they will. And in my devotions, which had become my custom, I had included Chuck's name when one day God gave me a beautiful poem entitled Journey's End, which I feel honored to know they have posted on Charlton Heston's website, thanks to Mona, who is the officiator of that site. And I want to share that poem and one other that God gave me as I had prayed that something would come in lieu of this death. Now, due to my own health, I may not do too well with this, but at the same token, I also have to glance down, which I apologize for, but I don't want to miss any of the words. And so I give you Journey's End. Charlton Heston is on my mind today, but of course he's remembered each time I pray. Not just because I've met him and I consider us friends, but because, like Ronald Reagan, his legacy will never end. On more than one occasion, he was gracious to me, delivering a copy of The Flame so he and Lydia could see what the camera's eye had captured within. He opened the door and he let me in. Or in Florida, where he played tennis one day, he left me an autographed copy of The Actor's Life on that memorable day. The movie Health was being filmed at the very same place at St. Petersburg's Don Cesar. This, thanks to William Bill Bowman, had been restored to its original elegance and grace. But there's a deeper reason Chuck is on my mind today. I felt especially led a special prayer to pray, often wishing we could share yet one more time the awesome realities of our minds. It grieves me to know this no longer can be, even if we were once again face to face, you see. But of this much I tell you, I'm assured we'll find in the future we'll have all of eternity to share our minds. So God bless you until we reach the other side, where so many others we love now abide. I just want you to know we wish you Godspeed, and thank you for the many truths you planted, which have taken root from your seed. For they continue to blossom and bring fragrance to earth, to generations whose existence has yet to experience birth. Through the words of immortals you have portrayed so well, the complete power of which is beyond what anyone can tell. Or through your awesome stand for our God-given rights, wherein you, like Paul in Scripture, put up a good fight. And a host of other things we attribute to you, because to yourself you always remain true. So now I must close, although I could write forever what is, only in part, the legacy to us which you give, praying for Lydia, Holly, and Fraser too, that God continues to protect them and guide them through what they've yet to go through. For each of you are sent both our love and our prayers. For love is life's only value eternal, and we will eternally care. So in prayer I've said, we have requests God attend to your fight. for God answers prayer and will keep each of you through your darkest night. I pray somehow this poem will reach you, but this nobody knows. But I'm sure God hears my prayer as to heaven it goes. I just wanted once more to tell you, my friend, you will be in our prayers even beyond your journey's end. And then I prayed that God would give me something now that I learned of his departure. And I never know how it's going to go, but it did, and I was so thankful. I'd like to tell you the unique story of how this happens, but I won't do it here. This is entitled God's Own Voice, written in memory of Charlton Chuck Heston. We are such stuff as dreams are made of, because we were created by the greatest dreamer of all, for only God could create a dream wherein not a single person is considered small. Yesterday we lost the man who often quoted this line, Charlton Chuck Heston, a very dear friend of mine. As a writer, I can tell you it's true. Never can anyone scribe a collection of words that could even begin to relay what we feel, knowing what from Chuck we've heard. He defended truth and worthy causes way before it was a popular thing to do. A true Renaissance man of awesome valor, who to his own self forever remained true. A man, although caught in the mainstream of Hollywood, to his wife Lydia and children remained always there, lovingly at their side, proving how much he cared. Heaven awaits him with outstretched arms, with a trumpeted fanfare, beyond even that of a chariot race's charms. I thrill to know Chuck will now find answers to many questions he has left behind. This great intellect who willingly shared with us all what I'm positive was to him God's great call. As last night, I'm sure he heard the best words of all. Come home, my son, as he responded to God's final call. Oh yes, we as humans will grieve beyond words until our turn comes these wonderful words to have heard. I know, my friends, it will soon be God will utter these words to me, but the fact remains awesomely true. Time could run out for any of you. I would just pray each of you find you lived as did Charlton Heston, knowing real peace of mind. Like Paul in Scripture, you've properly run life's race and can claim your reward through God's divine grace. So as Scripture admonishes, let us cry at a birth, but now at this death rejoice, as we hear God's words to Chuck, well done, in God's own voice. I thank you for listening to me. I wanted to do the tribute to Chuck, and this is the only, or best way I should say, that I believe it can be done. God bless, and take care, and God bless Charlton Heston's family. Thank you, and goodbye.